Welcome back to the podcast. Today's topic is the power of the and.
Welcome to Shift Happens, the podcast about navigating the lighter side of life's challenges.
I'm Robin McIntire, a certified life and transitions coach.
And I'm Monique Eckes, a questioner acting as the audience asking questions.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah? All right. Anyway, I ask a lot of questions in general, which fuels all our conversations.
And it's so good. That's why you're so coachable.
Oh, thank
you're
you.
so curious.
Thank you.
I hope you're curious. That's what keeps life exciting. Seriously.
Yes. I know we're going to say this at the end, but seriously, if you have questions, type them to us. All right? Okay. Just
Yeah, we want your
just had to slip that in. I just had to slip it in. Okay, so
Good.
the power of the and. I mean, I love this because I've done a lot of improv and I love improv shows, so I kind of get that. But give us another way to think about this.
That's why I love the power of the and so much is it takes us away from all or nothing thinking. Mm-hmm. So, black and white is easy to, that's the quickest way to find out what your beliefs are and sometimes what your limiting beliefs are. It's either this or it's that. I'm good or I'm bad. I eat good or I eat bad, which was why I never liked that about food because if you eat bad food, you think you're bad. I could go on and on about that. But this is the power of the and helps us stay away from all or nothing thinking.
All or nothing and black and white.
And black and white.
Yes. And what's funny is I can think, like when I was a teenager, I remember thinking it's just black and white. You either do this or you do that.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand all the other components of life, It's not always this or this.
Yeah, it can come in handy, like with your values sometimes it can your values can be very black and white, and that's fair, and that's all of our own prerogatives, to have that.
Yeah.
But this is about choice.
Yeah. And we were talking about this yesterday, and I know this isn't in the notes, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think we're kind of inundated, at least in the U.S., by that on our social media so much. People are like, oh, if we could have had it like in the olden days, like why can't we pull stuff from the olden days and from now?
Yeah.
Why can't young people listen to music we listened to in the 70s and appreciate today's music? Why can't they do both? So I think about
That's a great example.
And all the time.
Yeah.
But I think we're looking at this and in what we talk about in our personal growth, setting goals, mindset.
Holy
cow.
Yes, it's like quit shutting yourself down with this all or nothing thinking. And by the way, perfectionists, we are the worst. And I don't mean that bad, but all or nothing is until it's perfect, we don't launch it. And,
oh my gosh.
There's so many things. If I didn't do it perfectly, I didn't get credit for any of it, which really hurts forward momentum.
Yes, I was with someone who, if they couldn't spend 2 hours deep cleaning the bathroom, they wouldn't do anything.
Oh, yeah,
it's either I'm going to leave it an absolute mess or I'm going to absolutely deep clean it. There was no in between.
Okay, I'm just dying to know what you're thinking about yourself right now in this moment, all of you listeners, because if this is resonating, it's so common. We're going to normalize it, right? We're going to normalize it.
Yes.
But it really is something that once you become aware of it, it just opens up so many more opportunities and just for everything, for inner peace, for literal opportunities. It's just,
that's true.
It can do so much for relationships if you think about it.
Oh, wow.
With ourselves, with others, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's not always black and white.
That's true. Okay, so we're going to give you some examples, don't worry. You might have some going, so let us know. But here's a couple that we had.
Yeah, so this could look like, the all or nothing can look like, well, I ate a donut this morning, and so I already blew it, so I'll start tomorrow.
Right?
That's a huge all or nothing throw in the towel.
Yeah, or like, oh, my project is late, so I'm just not going to turn it in at all.
Yeah, I mean, that reminds me of me when I was in school. It's just one more project.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that's a great example. We're halfway through the year. All right, and if you're a goal setter and whether you did a vision board or you just have written goals or you even have ideas and goals that you've shared with somebody, vocally, and it's halfway through the year and you look at it and say, oh my gosh, it's like I forgot I even wrote these goals. It would be so easy to write off the whole rest of the year.
Oh, and the whole list.
Yeah, and the whole list.
Actually,
we're begging you not to do that.
Please don't.
Please don't do that.
You can look at your goals and refine them, but those ones that are really important, there's still a ton of time.
Yeah.
There's still so much time, and that's just in a calendar year.
Yeah, so what we want to do too is give you examples of the power of the and. So you can give the first one, because I like that you came up with it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you weren't even the personal trainer, and you came up with it.
Yeah, I can like my life and have sad days.
Yeah, I mean, when you said that, it's like it doesn't mean that the world is ending. It doesn't mean you're not a happy person. But that's so peaceful just to say it's an accepting thing. It reminds me of accepting.
I think so, and I think it's not about like me as a person. I'm having a sad day.
It's not
I'm
defining
not always
you.
a sad person.
Yes.
Because I feel like I'm such a like up person all the time, kind of the Pollyanna of the bunch. Sorry if that dates me. But so sometimes I thought, well, if I have a sad day, then oh no, now I'm a sad person. Like that whole black and white thinking.
That's a great example.
So I
really
love
great
the
example.
idea.
Yeah. You can hear people say, I used to have people say, well, Robin, you're a personal trainer, and plus you're also telling us to accept ourselves the way we are. So this comes in big time with either your diet or body image or exercise or whatever. It's like, I can like where I'm headed and not be there yet. So it could be, I like my body and I want to be more fit. Right?
Yeah.
I would like to lose more weight, and I'm going to give myself credit for the weight I've already lost.
Yes.
Keep the momentum.
We've given some examples of how to use this. Here's some contrasts of one way to think of it versus using the and, just changing the one word.
Yeah, just change one word.
Change one word.
I like my body, but I need to get more fit.
Oh, well, that feels different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so instead, you could say,
I like my body, and I'd like to get more fit.
Just changing that one word, gosh, that makes a difference to me,
it really
right?
does. It really does, because it's like you don't have to knock yourself down. In fact, don't knock. It goes the opposite. This gives you some juice. It helps you get some momentum. And like, yeah, girl, you're getting there. You're going there.
Right, and it's not that black and white.
It's not black and white.
So
it doesn't have that negative.
My example is, I like my life, but I have sad days.
Yeah.
So when we say I like my life and I have sad days, then I can go, oh, okay, this is something I can do.
Yes.
It kind of gives me some action to take.
It definitely directs your brain. So the other thing we can say here is, we've all probably heard this, is that when we use the word but, I like my life, but.
Oh.
Remember, that takes away the whole first part of the sentence.
Yes.
So the negative connotation, it just goes away. I like my life, but I have sad days. It just takes away that you like your life.
Yeah, so right. I kind of think of that example with teachers. So when teachers in, maybe my past, they'd be like, I like your paper, but you should have done this. You could have done this, this, and
You
this.
didn't even hear the I like your paper after
You'd never
that.
heard the I like your paper.
That's a great example.
So if, you're talking to yourself or someone else, hey, I like your paper, and could we do this and this?
Yeah.
To make it even better.
Yeah.
So
good.
being truthful, of course.
Yes.
But this is so good to talk to yourself and other people, I think. Just replacing the but,
It's a challenge.
It is.
It's gotten to the point where I've been working on this for so long that when I say but at all, it really kind of, there's places like, so I'll give you an example. The podcast that we did 3 podcasts ago, resistance is real and so are your goals. I so bad wanted to say resistance is real, but so are your goals. And it could have fit, but that's how hard it is for me to use the word but now.
Well, and then we would have forgotten the whole first part of it. Resistance is real.
That's so true.
Yeah. It's an emphasis thing too, I think, where you can emphasize the entire thing instead of just half of your thought.
That's so true.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it is. It's
we're looking at
inflection.
this in our notes, but I love my life, but I have bad days. That seems like 2 separate things. I love my life, and I have bad days.
Yeah.
We can
That's
have
more of an
all
acceptance.
It is.
That's where the acceptance comes in. The way you just, with your tone,
Yes.
that was more like, I love my life, and I have sad days.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Well, when I was studying some stuff in the life coach school, Brooke Castillo refers to life as 50-50. And as long as we expect that it's not supposed to be all roses, then we can accept the bad days.
I love it.
So much. I mean, that helped me. That was another one-liner.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
And it's kind of like the whole point of this podcast, to lighten those heavy topics in our life, where doesn't that feel lighter? If we could say, you know.
It does.
I think so.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, I had a donut, now the whole day is shot.
Yeah, and you're such a bad person.
Oh, yeah. No, I had a donut, and, you know, next I'm going to have a salad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and we're not giving excuses. We want to reiterate.
Yeah.
The grace is, we'll go back to the grace thing. It's not about making excuses, but it is. It's about acceptance. It's about liking your choices.
Yes.
Choosing to choose.
And knowing you have choices.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that before, too. Yeah.
See how all these topics are just meshing?
They are.
We almost got in another rabbit hole, almost.
Before we get into some of the action steps to help you, let's talk about our Spark Session Plus.
I want to talk to you, especially if you are in the Perfectionist Club and all or nothing really, really gets you. I really would love that. This is for anybody, of course, but the Spark Session Plus is a 90-minute session, initial session with me, and it's followed 2 weeks later by a 30 to 45-minute session. And basically, in the first one, let's just pretend we're going to talk about all or nothing and how it's affecting you, if it's not serving you, how we can help you just create something different and set up whatever you mostly decide that works for you. And then we're going to check back in 2 weeks later, and that's where we can see what's working, what's not working, and tweak whatever it is for you. But it's a really nice way to just check out coaching for one and what support would feel like. So 20% off, and it will be in the show notes where it'll give you instructions of how to get the 20% off.
Super. Okay. All right. So back to the power of the and. We have a couple of one-liners. We actually have two one-liners today.
We do. And I love this one. It's never all or nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's never all or nothing. And then you have one.
I have
fits
one.
So perfect here.
And I've really been trying to embody this year, is two things can be true at once.
Right?
Yeah.
There is a lot of gray out there.
Yeah. I mean, more than two things can be true at once.
That's so true. But it reminds you, that so reminds me of, I have a choice. Wait a minute. It helps you to step back and take a pause.
We're tying it all in again.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are great to remember as we're winding down the podcast here, is never all or nothing, and two things can be true at once.
Yep.
So an action step to help us, to help you in your life, how can we apply this?
So here, make a game out of it. I always say gamify whatever you can.
Yes.
And also remember, it's a practice just like everything else. When we remember it's a practice, then we can just become more and more aware and catch ourselves and find some humor in it. So every time I go to say but, I'm thinking, I just can't not say it. But then I try. So here's the deal. Every time you go to say the word but, try to replace it with the word and. It's a fun challenge, and in a year's time, you'd be amazed.
It's true. It's so true. Like, you can use this talking to yourself, talking to coworkers or a boss, talking to your kids. If you just replace buts with ands where it seems like it fits, it's empowering.
But it's so hard, and I can't do it.
Oh.
It's so hard, and I can do it.
Oh my gosh. That's such a good one.
Do you feel the difference?
Yes.
We can do hard things. I think when we started hearing that, we can do hard things, that was a great example.
Because our life is full of what can be hard things.
Yeah.
But I love this, lightening it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Go find some evidence that you can do it.
True. Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening and watching on YouTube to the podcast today. Remember, shift happens.
Shift happens.
It does.
It always happens, and we're here to help. And please, if you get value out of this, please help us grow the podcast. We would love for you to share it, rate it, go in and review on Apple Podcasts, and also we love the comments and suggestions for topics.
Yes. And everything can also be found at Robin's website,
RobinMcIntire.com. RobinMcintire. All eyes.
All right. Super.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, we did it. Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Ciao.